Welcome to the Adventures of Inner Space, where we discuss conscious awakening, cosmic connection, energy healing, personal development, and creating your exceptional reality. It's brought to you by Universal Flow, and it features Rachel Ann, Dr.
Hi.
Nathan Whitcop, who will be here in any moment, and myself, Todd Cunningham. Today's topic is your attention and focus creates your world. And we get a little format going. We're going to have a little more structure this time. We're trying not to be too structured, but at the same time, we'll have a little structure. We'll try to keep it to an hour. So we're going to have an opening meditation and a closing guided meditation. So here I go. So some people have done this with us before, some people not. I'm going to do a grounding meditation. My idea of grounding is connecting to more, to the all of what we are part of. And in some ways, it's all of us, et cetera, et cetera. I like to go into the earth because I find most of us are flying around somewhere near our bodies. So I always start grounding with going into the planet. So find a comfortable place to sit. Take a few breaths. Allow yourself to become present. See if you can locate yourself right behind your forehead. Stare across the room if you want and look at the wall and put your attention right behind your forehead. And then maybe move it back a little bit more into the center of your head so that your attention, the part of you that you can move around, is centered inside of you. And then I want you to imagine that you're going down through your body, you're dropping down through your body, you're going through your throat. Here he comes. We're going down through your heart, through your abdomen, through your tailbone, and you're placing your attention. You're moving your attention through the ground, through the house, through the foundation, through the earth, and into the center of the earth. And we're connecting our attention to the center of the earth, maybe the physical center of the earth, as a way of imagining it. And yes, you're imagining this, and your ability to visualize, and your ability to visualize is part of being able to move your attention. So you're imagining that you're going to the center of the earth, and you can think of rays of light, you think of a beam of light, you think of water, roots. I've interviewed a lot of people when they're grounded, and there's as many ways of visualizing this as there are people. And you're going to notice a shift. Hopefully you've noticed a shift right now already. Go to the center of the earth, ground yourself, and you're also going to the center of the being of Mother Earth. You're asking to connect to the higher self. You're connecting your higher self, that's your attention, to the higher self center of the Mother Earth. Okay, so now once you're in your body this well, and you're really planted here on the planet, because if you have a body, you made an agreement with the earth to come here and be in a body and walk around on the planet and animate this body. And from there, stay connected to the center of the earth and come all the way up through your body and connect up to your cosmic information, to your higher self, to different levels of your soul, and all the way to the central sun, I call it. So there's a galactic central sun, there's a universal central sun, and then there's the center of all creation, central sun, and these all link together. And this connects us to heaven and earth. And that's a good place to start. Now, you can also think of it as a torus, like Nate's showing us right now. He's got great pictures. So Nate came with pictures today, and he's showing the picture of a torus. And that's a different way of looking at grounding. And we should do a whole show about grounding and ways to visualize it and the connection. So again, today's topic is your attention and focus creates your world. And it's something Rachel's been bringing up and talking to us about. So love to hear what Rachel has to say about that. Hi, Nate.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yeah, you're here.
Hear you great. Hi, Nate.
Hello.
Hi. So last time we did this, we were talking about our intention, and then our attention on everything. So in the way that our world is right now, with people scrambling about placing their attentions on specific ideas or notions, I don't think people are aware of how they're actually creating more of something by placing attention on something, even if it's something that they don't necessarily agree with or want in their world. And I'm not saying to ignore something and it goes away, because that's not true. But when you invest all of your attention, which is very similar to your intention, and there's a fine line there, I think. You guys can correct me on this, but your attention, say your attention is on the political world, and so that starts permeating into your whole being, all of your cells, all of your everything that makes you starts to connect with that you're putting your attention on. And if it's something that makes you feel agitated or upset, or I mean, maybe it can make you feel good. Either way, that's what's going to happen. You're creating your world with your attention. So your attention on your children, for example, they bring you the greatest joy in the world, but they also bring you a lot of frustration, probably, and a lot of inner shadow work as well. But that also can create your world. So what I'm getting at is how you place your attention on something makes a difference in creating the world around you. And I know I'm kind of stumbling a little bit on this right now, because I really want some input from Todd and Nate on this, because it helps me to interact on it as well. But a long time ago, I had
You're doing it perfectly, so I didn't have anything to say.
Oh, well, good, thank you.
Taking it in.
So one of my first yoga teachers, Ramlev, he said to me, "Attention is love." And I said, "What?" And he said, so love is attention. You're putting your attention on something. Our attention is what we have. Our attention is our essence, is our, okay, I'm going to put attention on this. It's us. So we're putting attention on something and taking away the connotation of that attention. All right, so I'm looking at this beating over here on the street. I'm putting all of my attention on that. My whole being is being put on that. That's my attention. It's no different than, oh my God, I'm watching a child being born. That's all of my attention. That's all of my being, all of my heart going into that. So that's why when he said to me, attention is love, I was still in a space where I was polarized and I wasn't able to see that it's all of me and all of my essence putting my attention onto that particular topic or subject or person or however the case may be. And we touched on this a little bit before in our last meeting together about the world how it is now, and how we put judgment on it, whether it's good or bad. And everything in the world just is. We just are. I mean, and it's not to say, oh, whatever, we just are. That's not what I mean. It's just that, when things get tough, where is it in there that we're judging? Where is it that we're placing something being bad? Or where is it, things are great. Oh, it's wonderful. Where is it that we're placing things to be great? Everything really just is, because everything is created. Everything is from the divine. Everything is of the creator, however you want to call that, that presence, that creation of life. Everything comes from that, the good, the bad, the happy, the sad, the confused, whatever. So when we put connotation on it, it makes it something, and it's made something based on our perception and our attention.
Can I give an example for myself for this year? I was focusing in the last couple months a lot on the politics myself. And I know that I needed to take my attention away from that, because we could do a whole other video on surrender itself, because right now we're in a time where we have to surrender to these energies, because Aquarius is such chaos. When we focus on times, dates, names, all this, it's going to change. And it already did the second we put our focus on it, because Aquarius is so random and everything is changing so quickly. Say if this president or that goes in, it doesn't matter, because regardless if we're surrendering right now, the light is coming through whatever's happening more than it ever has, even if it's not your judgment or to you and your best interests. As we surrender, we're gonna find that it's all happening for a reason at a way higher level than we understood it, when it was happening the way we wanted it to happen by controlling it ourselves. Right?
So I have questions for you guys, because there seems to be some balance to me. I get exactly what you're saying, and on the other hand, well, I like to be informed for one thing, so I catch myself when I'm getting too absorbed in it, and I'm like, all right, that's interesting. What does it mean for me? What do I need to do? Oh, I need to go out in the woods and ground. That's really something important for me to do. So what's my question? My questions are, there's got to be a difference between when something catches your attention and you're supposed to do something about it. It's your thing to get involved with that. And there's another time where you're getting sucked in, and you can be addicted either way. I think you can be addicted to the negative story, or you can be addicted to the feel-good story too. And I'm trying to remember the words. Somebody was putting it a different way. Either way, you start manufacturing a story about what's happening. And my observation of humans in general is watching them get a certain amount of information, and then they make a story and they make a box, and then everything from then on fits in that box, because now they have control. So I think part of what we're talking about is taking an information, and then another part is trying to make a story so that you have control over that information, which is ultimately going to leave you dissatisfied at a certain point in time, whether the positive thing that you're addicted to is sugar, and you connect this, it makes me feel good. We're really probably you only need a very little bit of it, otherwise it's not going to make you feel good. Anyways, that's my thoughts.
I think that goes back to what Nate was saying about surrender. When you find that portion or that attention or that whatever it is that draws you in, and you feel like you want to give attention to it, then that's when you have to choose to surrender to it or not. Surrender to that story. I think I
What
personally have
does surrender mean? Put surrender in different words, because I think a lot of people are going to take it as like giving in to that, and I think you guys different.
It is giving into it. It is. It's something that you've chosen to allow into your world. It's what you've, to me anyway, surrender is okay, I'm going to surrender to this, or I'm going to release all else, and this is going to be what it is that I'm going to focus on, or release all else and have no focus. So that can be, I personally run into trouble with that, because I look around and I can just completely surrender and just sit, which is great. And it's a wonderful tool to have, but you can go too far into that as well and kind of be like lost.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's the question
sure.
I'm trying to ask you guys is, what's your, yeah.
You got to show. So my shirt right here, it's John Lennon. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one, right? From Imagine, it's a quote.
Your camera
so the
shadows.
Yeah, the shadow. Here, let's see if you can see it a little better. There we go.
There you go. That's
okay.
it.
Okay, so our whole world is a dream, even what we're doing consciously, right? So what we're putting our energy into in this dream is what is attracting into our energy field or attracting into our world. And it's also what we're giving out to the world. So whatever we're putting into our dream that we're creating, and right now we have a possibility of, with a multidimensional reality coming in, we can use like 7 different dreams at once if we want, which what I mean, this is another topic too, is the multidimensionality of the human being itself. We have infinite multiverses going on at once, but for some reason 7 is a number I'm picking up on with a lot of different people right now. They have 7 different literal dreams going on at once right now.
Those are the overlying frequencies, the chakras. They're like they're different frequency bands that we exist in at the same time. Okay, I know that's all cool, but what I'm getting at is something much more practical. Not that I agree with leave it. At the same time, I'm trying to pull something like what I'd like to hear us talk about is, what do you do? What's your way? Like for myself, I'll look way into something, but then I'll quit. Like, okay, Facebook, for years now, I have a 15-minute Facebook limitation, mostly when I go on it. And if I'm doing something that's more along these lines, I might spend a little time because I'm using it for promoting something instead of just entertainment, or I might be connecting with somebody, so I'll use it that way. But other than that, if I'm just scrolling through, I'll literally train myself to look at the clock, and when 15 minutes out, I'm like done. Because in the beginning, I'd spend 2.5 hours on Facebook, and I'm like, wow, that's 2.5 hours I can never have back. And you know, and so I limit my attention that way, and then and I also watch what catches my attention, because one way I pick up information is the same subject comes up over here and it comes up over here. And then somebody else says something and I'm like, okay, universe, this is up. And they'll look into it more that way. And, you know, sometimes I'm empathic. So if I walk past an alleyway where something horrible went on, I will feel it. And I've had to learn to be like, that's not mine. The only difference between that is once in a while, it will be mine. And God help all those other people standing in front of me at that point in time, when the universe tells me this is yours, change it. I'm like, I can't explain the amount of energy that comes along with that. I've never been, when I'm in that mode and I'm like, nope, you people aren't going to do this. And there's one of me and 20 of you. And they're like, okay, Todd, we're stopping. I can't explain that, but
Mm-hmm.
That's how that happens. Because I have the whole, I've got the universe behind me right there.
Yeah. I find
my point is that they could be the same exact circumstance, but one time it's mine, and another time I have to be like, that's not mine. We got to walk on by.
I think
like,
that's a good point for us to discuss how we cope with that, how we choose, how we
Right.
create our own story based on the attention.
Yeah.
How you just explained to us how you go about it. Nate, how do you go about this?
So in the morning, I meditate for a while. Like I do this hot shower, and I don't know why in the morning I like the water hitting me as I'm meditating, and I'll set some, whether it's affirmations, like I'm just stating these things to draw this into my universe throughout the day. And I also contemplate stuff from the day before, just to like say, oh, how can I change this moment now from maybe mistakes I made yesterday or something, not that it's a mistake because it's all meant to happen, but it's like something I'm learning from. If I have stuff from my past that I'm learning from that comes into my meditation now, I'm dealing with it in that moment in the meditation. But by setting my affirmations in the morning, I find my day goes way smoother. And then also like around like stuff we're doing throughout the day, if we find there's like negative people around us a lot, we need to maybe change that and find other groups of people to be around to boost us a little, or like-minded people to help set our consciousness. Because as we're doing this in the moment all the time, we're constantly attracting what is coming into our world at every moment, like every moment in time. Right in this present moment now, I'm attracting this. Talking with you guys, we're here, we're talking about our world, the intentions we're setting. So if like I had something that came on that was maybe out of what I'm setting for my affirmations, also in that moment, that may be a lesson necessary for me in that present moment when that happens, right? So I think like right now, what's happening to all of us that's attracting into our lives, every single bit of it for sure is like meant to happen for like lessons we're learning, but also like maybe like say I went down to the store and I fight the whole mask thing, so I don't wear a mask going into the grocery store, okay? And maybe that called on some energies of people like not necessarily liking what I'm doing, right? But in that moment, I'm grounding what I'm doing, I'm staying strong, okay? And I find actually by doing that, it attracts less stuff to happen to me. I've only had one confrontation in this last year really over that, and it was my fault that day because I found that day for some reason I was a little off, and I attracted that to happen into my world for like a little confrontation over a mask wearing, for instance, and that's just an example, right?
Yeah.
We're bound to bring these things up.
It's good. I think people have to hear this stuff because I believe, like, say you're wearing a mask and in New York people really have to, right? Here we have the choice, so I'm staying strong.
It's a public perception.
Yes,
it's literally. So what we're talking about creates a field, and in one place where I am here in northern New York, I mean, I would have to battle everything around me, I think, to take that mask off.
For sure.
I have it so good here. It's so easy going here.
And
same here.
Except for one time, like you said, Nate, and that's really a super good point that you brought up. That one time where I had an incident, typically I do the same thing.
We're about to get kicked off YouTube, by the way.
Why? Oh, anyway.
We're talking about not wearing masks.
I love it.
It's
Let's
fine.
keep this baby going. We can set up a new YouTube after.
Yep. I'll do it.
No. I'm not afraid of it. I just said I'm not going to be afraid of it. I laugh. I make fun of it because it's real.
Yeah.
Right. Like we might as well get into mask wearing for a second. Like this. Okay, I have a degree in physics.
I think
if
we
anybody
should
can
finish
do
the topic for people about
aerosol,
grounding
look,
first. This could go on a long
mask
Yeah.
is, wait a minute, wait a
No.
minute. Let's do it really simple for a second.
No,
Mask,
let's finish the grounding portion. It's much
Yeah.
more on
my
topic.
point is masks don't work. It's all
Right.
perceptual. It's exactly, it fits. Nate brought a perfect example that fits what we're doing. Okay.
This goes
The
back to the
science,
attention.
the science says that they don't make any difference. They can't make any difference. Mechanically, the hole in the mask is 10 times bigger than an aerosol virus.
Yeah.
So
Thousands
it's not
of
any
times
good
bigger.
for smoke. Smoke is 10 times, 20 times bigger. It's no good for smoke. It doesn't do anything. It's all emotional and perceptual, that they're using to promote it.
Which
is
goes right
exactly
back
what
to
we're
our
talking
topic.
about.
Which
This
goes
is
right back to our topic,
Listen
right?
about real quick back to our topic, but I can do it with the mask wearing. Okay, this is what I'm finding in my world because I'm doing this, and we're in the average age community of 72. When I go into the store and I'm not wearing a mask, and pretty much all the older people are, okay, what I'm finding that's kind of cool being an empath, and I can look at this in a positive way, the people not talking to me because of wearing the mask aren't of the energy that I'm putting out. So I find like because of that mask restricting some of these people, I don't have to, not that this is bad or good, but I don't have to deal with certain people, but I communicate, the people that communicate with me, that come to me are of a like energy, and it's really cool. But grounding wise, like for all this, just we are our own power within our hearts, right? For us to ground, like if we're like setting a precedent to do something like this, we really have to not think of the negatives on ourselves and always make things to be more of a, not that I'm judging polarity wise, I am, because I have to explain it, but like by setting a positive precedent with what I'm doing, I find it doesn't affect me as much. For instance, go ahead, anyone.
Well, you had mentioned how you go about starting your day, and I think that's right on topic, is that, throughout your day, for example, you start out, you meditate, you're grounding yourself, you're collecting all the little fragments of yourself that are everywhere scattered, maybe not. And you're really becoming solid in yourself for that moment, which lingers with you the rest of the day. Whereas if you wake up and you're like, oh, I got this and this and this, and then so you're remaining all over the place. Then you go into the store, and how you go into the store with that grounding and that, taking the time, and it's also self-care, giving yourself that attention in the morning to bring yourself to yourself. And then you go to the grocery store and you're all yourself. So then you're going to be creating what you are. You're creating that around you. Like you just said, you're creating who's going to talk to you, and who, but then there's always the, creator or spirit or whoever else that likes to throw a little something in there once in a while. But if you're on your game and you're solid in yourself, you can handle that. Whereas if you're like scattered all over the place, you're going to be reactive. You're going to be, what you could be a million different things. And if you're as empathic as I am, and you are, I personally, I have a hard time sometimes going into stores if I'm not on my, in myself centered, because I hear everybody, or I see everybody, or they're crawling out of their bodies, and I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta get out of here.
So we gotta do something. You just brought me onto something I've been learning, and I think I got this from Jeffrey Allen, who's a really good energy healer. It's really simple. So if you make a egg shape around your body, imagine the egg shape of your energy field around your body, right? And he calls it a permission rose, okay? And you put a rose that distance, say 3 feet-ish. This is my field. And sidebar, if you're in a tight, train car full of people, you can still have this space around you. But that's a little different. But anyway, just picture a 3-foot space around you, and you put this permission rose out there, which you're sovereign. This is your space. This is your energy space, and you have permission. You're giving yourself permission. You're allowed to filter and only accept whatever frequencies you want to have come through that. And it's different than protecting against. It's, okay, these are the frequencies, and I think it's a different way of looking at what you guys are talking about. These are the frequencies that I'm allowing to come through to me. And I'm allowed to choose that. And then everybody outside of that can have the rest of the universe. They have the entire rest of the universe, and they can do and have whatever frequencies and fields they want.
Another part of that, Todd, is like Archangel Michael's Tubal light. Like that's what I've talked on my spiritual ascension. All those people know about that. So it's just wrapping yourself in the white Tubal light. And you can look that up too, Archangel Michael's Tubal light. It really is yours. I mean, by saying Archangel Michael, it's like your own higher self. So we got to also look into getting away from using guides outside of ourselves and really create that strength within by using your own inner power. And say I call on the archangels, the way I look at it is they're parts
They're going
of me.
like this. They're like,
They're parts of myself. And so I can do that because I know it with my intention. I'm doing that. But most people don't realize when you call on the archangels, they're thinking of this higher demigod coming in and helping them. That's taking your inner power away by doing that. And your grounding is taken away from you. Okay, so you really, when you're using archangels or whoever, really understand it is your higher self and it's part of your own essence. And when I use that Tubal light, like I just feel I'm vortexing that energy around me and I'm sending it right into the earth and letting the feminine clear it.
The clearest way I've had it explained to me from them is they want you to ask them to stand with you, not for you, or in front of you, or because of something you can't do. But it's like one of us saying, hey, we have this going on. Will you come and help me with what I have going on? That, in other words, you're to see yourself as equal, as powerful.
Or it is
say,
you,
Michael,
really.
and which leads to my next point, which is Michael doesn't have this putting up this shield to shield himself from the universe. Yep. He puts up this I am power, and nothing else comes in here except what I am.
Except what I state with intent.
There's a difference between
intentions.
Shielding against and I am, this is my field. And
yep.
And if you choose to have some other connection, Michael's going to let you. He's going to be like, all right, you want to go down that street again? Okay.
And again, it's like what Nate was saying. If you want to go about it in a way that you're looking outside of yourself and you're calling in guides and you're saying that they are something other than you, you might run into some difficulties down the line with that. Because you're giving away, like Nate said, you're giving away your own power. And what this is my belief, and I know beliefs, I know the whole connotation on beliefs, but my belief is that these guides, Michael, Uriel, all of the archangels, Mother Teresa, any of those people, even guides that are yours, that are personal guides, they are you. They are not something outside of you. They are not an external thing. You are one with these energies, and they are an aspect of you that you can call on within yourself. It's like a superpower that you embody. And when you call on, and you know what these different aspects do for you, then you're activating that portion of yourself to help yourself become stronger, or not even stronger, but maybe more expanded or more evolved in situations or in times of need.
And when we are using it outside ourselves, it's a male-based energy that throws the base chakra and the root, which is our grounding chakra. It throws it totally off. So when we're going outside, it's like going into a church. Okay, the structure is a phallus. Okay, that's a male vortex that's created. You walk into that church, what I do, because I like going in and grounding the people. So when I go to church, I'm inverting the energy to balance to the feminine. So any of us going to church now, if we're doing this, it's good because we're helping the people there and connect that feminine energy into the earth, because that phallus is bringing our grounding from our heart out and up, maybe even bringing our soul out of our body, where we need to keep it grounded. And we can just state a simple intention in church to help ground everyone to the feminine, because the structure itself is pulling us away from that, like the demigods outside of ourselves. It's the same way of looking at it. Sorry.
Well, that it comes all the way around, back around to today's topic, what Rachel was just saying. And it's the yin yang thing that we were talking about last time, or you and I talked about it, Nate. I can't remember when we were talking about it, but anyways, yes, saying we're the same, that Michael and all the archangels are us, is also the same as saying that you and I are me, which on one way of the flow is true, and in another way we're not. And so the focus has gotten so far on outside of us, like, there's some virus and we're going to protect ourselves,
or going to a doctor, even, like, because we're giving our healing power away to someone else, where we're going into a time now, as we go in more, we're going to realize we don't need someone else helping us as much, as our higher self knows more for each individual than it does for, like someone else telling us what to do and putting all these chemicals into our body a lot of times.
Let's do it.
And
on
that's
the
coming from
level.
the doctor.
Yes,
let's do it on the energy level. For that little bit of RNA to become alive inside of you, you have to match that frequency. If you're, this isn't protecting against, this is if you're at another frequency, I think it's been measured. So when you get to about 14 hertz, your body's going to go, RNA, oh yeah, that's lunch. That's great. It's going to be displayed as you. If you have to match the environment so that frequency become alive. Internally.
And in matching that environment, you're putting your attention on something that is creating that match.
Yeah. Right. So,
or paying attention
I'll just leave
to your
it as
body,
leave it as what it is. But if you promote enough fear and enough stress and enough, environmental stresses, then it's going to be easy for people to match those environments.
So there's going to be a lot of people out there that say, oh, well, that's crap. That's bullshit. It's not real, because I'm not able to, and Todd, you've used this a million times. Well, I'm not able to change the direction that sun rises and sunsets. Well, true, but you're able to create the world you live in by say you have your television on CNN or Fox or whatever they are. I don't have them. So you have that on all the time. Try to turn them off. Turn it off for 2 days, 1 day. Just notice the difference in how you feel. Notice the difference in what happens throughout your day. It may take a day to detox. So you may go through hell for a whole day just to detox from having all of that constant thrown at you. But you may also have an ability to relax.
I had a woman.
What?
I had a woman come into me that exactly what you're saying. I gave her a week, stopped the news. Her pain when she came back, she was 80% better.
Yeah.
In 1 week.
And it's not just the news. It's not just the media. So what we feed ourselves, our diet, I mean, this is part of my yogic teachings even. This goes back to the Sanskrit scripts. what you feed yourself, what your diet is not just food. Your diet is your environment, your people around you. And you can choose food to be a medicine, or you can choose food to be a poison. There's really not an in between. Yeah. So when your focus is on nourishing yourself and taking care of yourself, you're going to expand, and you're going to end up creating with ease. Even when something catastrophic happens, you're going to have the ability to say, and to look at it, and to not judge it, and say, okay, this is happening. And yes, I can perceive this as horrible. I can break down. I can totally lose myself in this, or I can watch this and be the witness that the sages speak about and the gurus talk about, and watch it unfold, and see that there is a reason for things to happen, that it's not just something that has to be a reaction that takes place and it's bad or it's good.
And what you're saying, really, you're raising your vibration by changing everything around. Like what we read, if it's like something that's got all this drama in it, right? It's attracting that into our universe. So if I read more things that the universe I want to create, I'm helping my energy of attraction create that. If I'm watching a TV show that has all this horrible stuff in it, it's helping attract more horrible stuff in our life. If I'm eating food that's like, like that's lowering things in my body and not helping me heal, that's attracting more what I call low vibration things. Like if I'm toxic with my foods, a lot of times I'm toxic with what I'm watching, what I'm reading. My whole world's toxic around me because that's what I'm creating. But if I shift all that kind of, you don't have to do it all at once, but one at a time or whatever, however you want to do it, it'll shift everything in your whole world around you. How everything's attracting into your world and how you're even grounding, like what we're talking about.
So. Is there a balance? There's clearly, I hear people, in the new age world, they're talking about, well, living in 3D or living in 5D. And I'm thinking, well, you literally live in a whole bunch of dimensions at the same time, because that's the physics of it.
And are you living?
There's that part of it, but there's the, there is total chaos going on in our world, and there is all kinds of horrible things happening. I don't know. I'm compelled to find that in some ways, we're supposed to do something about it or take some responsibility of it, our part of it, to shift it. And so how does that work? Is there a difference between me picking what frequencies I want to exist on and pretending that certain things don't exist?
I think there's a difference. I think that if you're pretending, you're pretending, and you're stuffing something, and you're not acknowledging something to be real. Yeah.
So that lowers your vibration, like what we're talking about too.
Yeah, it takes away the flow of however you are configured. So some people are configured for drama. Some people are naturally born to experience dramas. And you can go to the zodiac signs and you can see people's configurations. Some people are designed to be warrior types and get right out there and get into stuff. And some people are designed to be, really zen and quiet. But you've got to take the time to learn who you are. And you can't do any of those things. And you can't find that essence of who you really are unless you take the time to do it.
And again, not like talking about outside of ourselves. If we're doing everything outside of ourselves, we're never going to find out who we really are.
Right.
And I find right now, this energy is bringing out, not that people are fake, because I don't mean to judge it. I have to explain it though. Okay. People are going in more to their divine purpose right now, which helps this grounding thing. And, the people that are fighting against what's coming through within them because they're doing everything outside of themselves, they keep having a harder and harder time in this energy because it's bringing in stuff that's either making them sick with pathology. And you know what? That's actually a good thing, because a lot of times trauma or pathology makes them change and makes them go inside more. And so people, we can't judge this right now with what's happening to people around us. This virus, when they get sick, it's making them make change. And it's also activating a DNA encoding inside of them to make them change. So to me, the virus is the most amazing thing I've ever seen hit this planet, because it's shifting in awareness and making more people go inside. And they're getting rid of the demigod thing, like this second coming of Christ thing. If you don't realize that's each and every one of us inside of ourselves, it's a consciousness, Christ consciousness, and you're looking for someone outside of you to be your savior, you haven't learned in this energy at all what's going on. And I'm just saying it straight up. So
I love it.
I'm just nailing that. I was told today I got to do this. So
yeah, no, I think it's time to go for it. I mean,
oh shit, sorry.
I can't believe
I'm
you
all
said
fidgety.
That.
I'm all
That's
fidgety
horrible.
right now. I'm like excited, just like a kid dreaming.
I'm still trying to find the way. I have ideas about this, but there's the
Todd. That's the problem. Ideas. Flow
exactly.
and feel about it.
Fine,
flow about it.
I'm trying to talk to you in English. Someone else did that to me today already. You know who it is, Nate.
Yeah.
And I've been guilty of it. Pound on a word. And I'm like, yeah, but try to listen to what I'm, you're just jumping on your definition of a word.
I know.
Sorry. At the same time.
And we're trying to talk about it in English, which is completely, we can do a whole show on English. Because English is totally control system language.
It's all
freeze frame.
It's all upper chakras.
If you want to go there, we'll go there. But that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that to take what Rachel said, that the archangels are all us, right? All the wars on the planet, all the child trafficking, all the politics, that's all you too. That's all us.
It is. But what can you do about that? The only thing you can do about that is to look at it, give the attention that you give it has to be given in such a way that it's neutral and at a high vibration, loving. You can't look at it and be like, angry.
That's what I was trying to get out of us. Yeah, exactly.
Because that just
hiding under the covers isn't, it's not going to do anything.
Yep.
My analogies always come back to rivers. I've stood at the top of waterfalls and with people in kayaks, and I've had friends who say, "You'll tell me when I'm ready to run something." And I'm like, "Absolutely not, never," because it's your choice until your intent is so strong that I'm going to do this, because it could kill you easily. I'm not going to be the one that said, "Oh, you can do it." When you stand up there and say, I can do this, I might ask you, I've stopped people from doing it by saying, "Did you see the logs that you can go under over there?" And they stop. They say, "I'm not ready." And I'm like, "Well," and they're like, "Well, you stopped me." And I'm like, if you can see that that's a death trap over there and still say, "I'm ready to do this," then from my understanding of it, you're pretty ready. But if you hadn't seen that yet, then you're not taking in the all of it. And so this is the labyrinth that I'm trying to understand more clearly with you guys about.
Well, and it doesn't happen.
I absolutely
overnight.
agree. Absolutely. I didn't see that note because I was trying to talk and I couldn't read it.
Is it not good? I can't see it myself.
Well, what does it say? The law of vibration and energy wellness. Be, do, have anything you want for yourself, your business, your world. Okay.
Doobie do.
I had to put that up. I thought it was pretty cool. You're right on though. Grounding too, like when you find your purpose, the grounding becomes a lot easier. So I think a huge part of grounding is finding purpose, and every human's purpose is to first heal thyself and then help others around them, right? But I mean, in whatever way you put your purpose, you can find your own.
I can cheat on the purpose. You chose here to come here in a body, and be here and the planet,
and to live,
bring awareness into the system. And so I think what we're talking about and the way it changes the whole system. Okay, here it comes. I got this. The way it changes the whole system is us being able to download our pure universal awarenesses, frequencies, patterning. Not that the earth doesn't have it, but it's like a reseeding of these probabilities, of these possibilities into the planet. And that, I guarantee anybody who will ever listen to any of this, your number one reason why you came here is to do that. Yeah. And then there's more.
I agree with you, Todd. I think your number one reason for being here is to live. And people can get so caught up in, what vibration am I at? Am I doing the right thing? Oh, I have to go into myself. There's a balance. You're right. There's an absolute balance in, yes, you want to learn who you are and you want to stand strong in yourself, but you don't want it to take away from living. You want to be able to live.
Yeah. And love, I guess it could go along with it too. Live in love.
So back to like my sports analogies, I think of skiing, and when I would teach, people would say, I want to be as balanced as you are. And I'm like, I'm never balanced. I'm just really good at doing tiny little corrections all the time that make me look like I'm balanced and I have this flow and I even feel this flow, but I'm my sense of when I'm getting out of the zone is so fine-tuned because I've been skiing for a year straight that you don't see it. And I think that's what we're talking about for ourselves. So, you're becoming more conscious and aware. You're like, oh, I'm getting dragged into this frequency over here. Do I want to get dragged into this frequency?
And admitting to our inner darkness, Todd, too.
Or I'm
that
denying,
we have it.
Or I'm denying all these frequencies over here, and I'm going to the feel good la la place, but I'm not acknowledging all the things that are clearly right in front of my path that I need to just go straight at and be like, okay, universe, what is it? I got to choose this. I got to go that way. I have to decide that and surrender to it in that way. And so it's this constant steering that you're becoming more aware of and then this creates a different life for you than if you were to, I'm going to turn on the TV, I'm going to do and say and believe what CNN tells me, and that's going to be my life. That's clearly, I think everybody listening can see that those are become two different paths.
But also know that, you don't have to get lost in trying to find these things. If you're not going to miss something. If the universe wants you to know something, it's going to slam you with it, whether you're paying attention or not. Like Nate was saying earlier, all of these downtimes, anytime for me too, anytime where I wasn't paying attention and it was important, I was knocked down. I was put on my butt, or something catastrophic would happen and force me to stop. I mean, and those stops, you can't not stop. You have to stop, and you reassess and you regroup and you rebuild, and it's okay. It's okay. And one more really important point is,
you have 1 minute and one of you has to do a closing.
Okay. One more point though, before we do, based on that, what I just said about you're okay, make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Make them. It's okay. Yeah. You learn from them. Don't go around on eggshells thinking, oh, I have to be all love and light. Oh, I have to be, live, experience, do it from your heart so that you're pure intent. Yeah, you're going to screw up. We all do. We're human. We're supposed to.
And acknowledge your inner crap that you have, because we all have stuff. And we can't deny that we don't. We aren't this pure white light, like fluff.
Look
New
out
age
in the world.
stuff,
You obviously have it because it's you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's absolutely true. I fought it for a long time, but the things that really bother you, we're back to Ho'oponopono. There's a piece of that in you because that part of you is God that is that, and it's just bugging you. And again, back to the topic of today, your most powerful place to go and adjust that is inside. And then
Let's get inside.
Then you might make
let's
food.
do it.
Then you might
Let's
bring
do it.
food to the food pantry too.
Do you want
Right?
me
You
to
might
do
both.
this, or Rachel, do you want to do it? I can do a quick little meditation I do to bring us into the heart for grounding, or if you want, Rachel, go for it, because it was your topic today too. Okay.
I'll do it next time.
I'm going to have us all go into, just close our eyes gently and let the light come through, but with the eyes closed, just so we're aware in our heads right now. Okay. So take a deep breath in through our nose and out through the mouth, releasing and letting go as we exhale out through our mouth, freeing ourselves and being present in this moment. As we inhale in through the nose, drawing in the whole universe again, drawing in all versions and forms of light. Exhale, release out your mouth and clear and free anything not necessary in this present moment now. And again, as we're sitting here now, just breathing in through our nose, out through our nose. We're connecting in our heads first right now, because that's where we first are, okay? We're going to balance the right and left side of the brain. So the male and the female brain are in complete balance and harmony. Then as we open up, we set the intention for our pineal gland, our third eye, to become the antenna, as it always is, opening up to the divine information coming through. So we draw that divine energy through us, through that antenna, and we set the intention to connect our pineal gland into our heart, and our heart connected back to the brain. So now we're bringing that divine information from what was in the brain's frequency, and we're grounding it to the heart's frequency, to the vibration of nature. Now we set the intention with our mind to bring the mind from the brain and ground it into the heart, now grounded at the universal mind. We connect to that tiny space of the heart where that balance of male and female meets. And that's our I am presence, or our child self. So as we're in our heart space now, we're grounded in our heart. We set this intention. Now we're going to take a deep breath in through our nose, draw in this energy, whatever form you want from the divine. And we're expanding in our heart a golden orb of light. And it expands inwardly and outwardly. And exhale, letting and freeing anything that was heavy on our heart. And just letting it be loose and free so it comes to the surface, and letting it go in this present moment or whenever we're ready to let it go. Now we send with intention right now from that tiny space of the heart. We transmit a frequency from the heart deep to the center of the earth. Whether we're sending what we visualize as light into the center of the earth, we can visualize it as being like tree roots that are going into the center of the earth. However way you like to send that golden orb of light from your heart, instantaneously transmitting it to the center of the earth, to the mother, the feminine, the magnetic, gravity. In this center of the earth, it's the plasma core. This is where the Akashic record lies. So we open up that connection to the Akashic record, which is the record of all time and all space. In this moment, as we're sending this golden love to mother, or transmitting it to mother, She loves us just as much, and she's infinitely sending us energy back or transmitting it back. And we're accepting it and constantly in this infinity, sending and receiving and sending, and in a balance, like a transmission of energy in this oneness. Now, as we're connected to the Akash, we just open up our DNA right now to receive anything in this present moment now necessary for any past traumas, any present trauma going on, and any future worry or any future trauma that we need to be aware of in this present moment. So that way it comes into our DNA as an intention, and it may not necessarily happen now, but when we're ready for it. From that center of the heart now, the female energy is emanating all through our chakras, all our acupuncture points, our psyche, our energy body. And it meets back in the tiny space of the heart again. And this time we're going to do an outward sending to the universe, to the male energy, to the stars, the planets, the sun. We're sending it out to the male, our father, sending this golden love, light, and energy, and receiving it also back from our father infinitely and instantaneously. So we're doing it at all times. We're grounding to the mother. We're grounding to the father. And as that father's energy, this electrical male energy, as it comes back into our psyche, our being, as it instantaneously did, as we said it, just like a transmission of frequencies of light, it meets again in that tiny space of the heart where the male and the female come together. And that meeting point is in that tiny space. That's our child self. That's who we really are, as children of this light. Grounding that into our heart, sending ourselves sending our child self love and this golden light, receiving from our child self this love and this golden light, transmitting it, emanating it to our outer environment, but also to our inner environment. Now we are a child in our hearts, dreaming, creating in this world that we're in. As we set affirmations now, as we're in our hearts in this tiny space of the heart, we can set intentions for healing mind, body, soul, energy, spirit, for our inner self, for others around us. But we can also open up to allowing the Akashic record come through from our past. And if we're ready to allow our traumas that are deep embedded into us, to free them and bring them to the surface if we're ready for this. And if we're not, it's not going to happen right away. It's going to happen when we're ready, because everything's in divine timing. Instead of time, it's all in alignment with our higher self, with our Christ self, dreaming as a child. And now we have grounded the Trinity, the male, the female, the child, into this tiny space of the heart. And throughout our day today, trying to stay in this grounded space as much as we can, because as we get mad, we get out of it and go out into the more male chakras. As we're trying to protect ourselves, we go more into the female chakras, trying to ground ourselves. And this is normal. It's okay. But we can keep coming back into our heart and trying to live as a child from our heart. And it's good as we're learning everything that's coming into our awareness and everything that's happening in this present moment. It was meant to be in divine alignment. We give thanks to our higher I am presence, to our creator selves, to creator, to source, to consciousness, And any guides we're using, again, we give thanks as this is a part of our higher self, and just understanding that connection to our higher self through these guides. Namaste with love and gratitude. So much thanks and appreciation with what we all have received today.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all for
Namaste.
listening and for being here and for having me be a part of this. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to feel everybody that's here. And even if you watch it later, know that you were here now or we're here then. It got cut off at some point, so I don't know what we're missing. But hopefully everybody gets the gist of all of that. And so maybe I was the only one that was cut off, I hope.
Hopefully.
Thanks
Bye.
again.
Love
We'll
you.
see you guys next time. Bye.
Love-
All right.